Imagine a world of gods, monsters, and heroes, where one man stands above all others, facing challenges so daunting that they seem impossible. Welcome to the epic tale of Hercules, the mightiest hero of Greek mythology, whose strength and courage were tested in ways no other mortal could endure. His story is not just one of brute force, but of heartbreak, betrayal, and an unyielding quest for redemption. So, gather around as we journey through the incredible life of Hercules, a man born of a god, cursed by a goddess, and destined for greatness. The legend of Hercules begins with a divine scandal. Zeus, the supreme ruler of Olympus, couldn't resist the beauty of a mortal woman named Alcmene, who was married to Amphitryon, the king of Tyrians. While Amphitryon was away leading his army in a battle at Thebes, Zeus seized the moment. Disguising himself as the king, he visited Alcmene, who had no idea she was being deceived. When Amphitryon returned from war, he grew suspicious of his wife's fidelity, and in a fit of rage, ordered her to be burned at the stake. But Zeus intervened, saving Alcmene and revealing the truth. She was pregnant with twins. One child was Amphitryon's, and the other was Zeus's own. Feeling honored to raise a child of the king of the gods, Amphitryon forgave his wife. Zeus had grand plans for his son. A prophecy foretold that the first great-grandson of the hero Perseus would rule the magnificent city of Mycenae. Since Alcmene was Perseus' granddaughter, her child was in line for the throne. But there was a problem. Alcmene's cousin was also expecting a child, and Hera, Zeus's jealous wife, was furious about her husband's betrayal. She forced Eileithyia, the goddess of childbirth, to speed up the cousin's delivery, ensuring that Eurystheus was born first. Because of this premature birth, Hercules lost his rightful claim to the crown of Mycenae. After a tough labor, Alcmene gave birth to two boys, Hercules and his brother Iphicles. Even as a baby, Hercules showed extraordinary strength, leaving no doubt that he was the son of Zeus, the Lord of the universe. But Hera's jealousy knew no bounds. Enraged by her husband's infidelity, she sent two deadly serpents to kill the infants as they slept in their cradle. Alcmene woke to Iphicles' terrified cries and was stunned to see baby Hercules strangling a snake in each tiny hand. This act of incredible strength was just the beginning of his legend. Fearing more attacks from Hera, Alcmene made the heartbreaking decision to abandon Hercules in a forest, hoping someone would find and care for him. By fate, two goddesses, Athena and Hera herself, stumbled upon the child. Unaware that this was Hercules, they were amazed by his vigor. Athena blessed him with unmatched courage and cleverness, while Hera, not recognizing her rival's son, offered him her divine milk. This sacred nourishment gave Hercules a strength surpassing nearly all other demigods, but when he suckled with such force that it caused Hera pain, she pushed him away. A stream of her divine milk sprayed across the sky, creating the Milky Way. Athena, realizing who the baby was, returned him to his mother. Hera, now aware of her mistake, burned with even greater hatred and vowed revenge. As news of Hercules' return spread, the seer Tiresias proclaimed, "Let us rejoice in the return of this child, who will one day rid the world of monsters, and through will one day rid the world of monsters." His mighty deeds earn a place on Olympus beside his father. From his earliest days, Hercules showed signs of becoming a legendary hero, but his path would be filled with unimaginable trials. Hercules grew up under the rule of his cousin, King Eurystheus, who had claimed the throne of Mycenae thanks to Hera's interference. Eurystheus despised Hercules, the illegitimate son of Zeus, and sought to control him. Though Hercules obeyed his cousin with frustration, he reached a breaking point when Eurystheus imposed a series of grueling tasks, known as the 12 labors. Desperate for guidance, Hercules consulted the oracle at Delphi, hoping to be free from his cousin's authority. The oracle's words were clear. With each labor completed, Eurystheus' power would weaken, and Hercules' fame would grow. But Hera saw this as a chance to strike. She planted madness in Hercules' mind, causing him to see horrifying visions of monsters. In this delusional state, he committed a terrible act, killing his own wife, Megara, and their children. When Hercules came to his senses and saw the blood on his hands, he was overcome with guilt and fled into exile, sinking into a deep depression. In a distant land, he was found by Theseus, a fellow hero and admirer, who helped him rise from despair. Time slowly healed Hercules' wounds, and he resolved to return to Mycenae to serve Eurystheus. By completing the labors, he hoped to atone for the horrific sins he had committed against his family. Eurystheus, fearing that his powerful cousin might one day seize the throne, devised tasks meant to destroy Hercules. The first labor was to slay a massive lion terrorizing the forests of Argolis. This beast, known as the Nemean Lion, was no ordinary creature. Rumored to be the offspring of the monstrous Typhon and the wicked Echidna, its hide was said to be impenetrable by any weapon. It had devoured livestock and even humans, developing a taste for human flesh. Armed with a bow, arrows, and his trusty club, Hercules set out to hunt the beast. He scoured the forests of Nemea for days until he found tracks leading to a cave littered with animal bones and human skulls. Deep inside, he heard the lion's heavy breathing as the beast roared, a sound that would make any man tremble. Hercules stood fearless, fueled by the blood of Zeus in his veins. He fired an arrow at the lion's head, but it bounced off the unbreakable hide. Enraged, the lion charged, and Hercules met it head-on. He struck the beast with his club, a blow that would have crushed any other creature, but the lion remained unscathed. Realizing weapons were useless, Hercules grappled with the monster hand-to-hand. The lion's claws tore into his flesh, causing excruciating pain, but Hercules wrapped his arms around the beast's neck and squeezed with all his might. The Nemean lion couldn't withstand his strength and finally perished. Using the lion's own claws, Hercules skinned the beast and wore its hide as a trophy. When he returned to Mycenae, Eurystheus was so terrified at the sight of Hercules in the lion's skin that he hid inside a large metal vat. With this, Hercules completed his first labor, taking a significant step toward eternal glory. For his second labor, Eurystheus commanded Hercules to destroy a fearsome creature in the region of Lerna, a multi-headed monster called the Hydra, another child of Typhon and Echidna. On their way, they passed a village destroyed by the beast, and a survivor pointed them to its lair. To draw the Hydra out, Hercules fired flaming arrows into the cave. The monster emerged, enraged, its many heads roaring as it lunged to devour the intruders. Hercules, despite his size, dodged its attacks with agility and smashed one of its heads with his club. To his shock, two new heads sprouted in its place. He slashed at the heads with his sword, but each time, more grew back. Iolaus shouted for him to stop, realizing they were only making things worse. Together, they devised a plan. As Hercules cut off each head, Iolaus would burn the neck with a torch to prevent new heads from growing. One by one, they defeated the heads. Hera, watching from above, sent giant crabs to aid the Hydra, but Hercules crushed them easily. Finally, they severed the last head, though the creature still lived. Hercules buried it under a massive stone. Knowing the Hydra's blood was highly toxic, he dipped his arrows in it, arming himself with a deadly new weapon. Eurystheus' plan to end Hercules was failing. With each task, the hero's fame only grew. Frustrated, the king assigned 2 more labors, hoping to rid himself of his rival. Hercules was to capture 2 creatures alive and bring them to Mycenae, the Erymanthian boar and the Ceryneian hind. The hind, a sacred creature of goddess Artemis, was incredibly swift, with golden horns and iron hooves. Capturing it seemed impossible. The boar, a beast of immense strength, posed an even greater challenge to bring back without killing it. Eurystheus believed Hercules would never return, as admitting failure was unthinkable for the hero. Over a year passed as Hercules tracked the Cyrenean hind. When he finally spotted her, he shot an arrow into her leg, slowing her down enough to capture her. Artemis appeared, furious at this sacrilege, but Hercules explained he was bound by the oracle's command to serve Eurystheus. Next, Hercules pursued the Erymanthian boar. Unable to overpower it directly, he used his wits, chasing the beast into deep snow where it tired out. Exhausted, the boar collapsed, and Hercules bound its legs. To everyone's astonishment, he returned to Mycenae carrying both creatures. Eurystheus, terrified, hid once more in his bronze vat. Another labor was complete. Growing desperate, Eurystheus devised a humiliating task for his fifth labor. Hercules was to clean the enormous stables of King Augeas in Elis, which hadn't been touched in years and were filled with mountains of animal waste. The king thought Hercules would refuse such a degrading job, but the hero, driven by his need for redemption, accepted. He approached King Augeas, offering to clean the stables in a single day for a reward, 1/10 of the king's vast herd. Augeas, believing it impossible, agreed, with his son Phyleus as a witness. Instead of using a shovel, Hercules diverted the nearby Alpheus River by moving massive rocks with his strength. The water rushed through the stables, washing away all the filth, and he redirected the river back to its course. Augeas, seeing the clean stables and Hercules' hands untouched by dirt, was stunned, but when Hercules demanded his payment, the king denied the agreement. Phyleus, however, confirmed the deal, angering his father. In response, Augeas banished both Hercules and his son. Unwilling to accept such dishonor, Hercules later returned with an army, overthrew Augeas, and placed the honorable Phyleus on the throne. Another labor was done. For his sixth labor, Hercules was sent to Arcadia to eliminate the Stymphalian birds, giant predators with iron beaks and sharp metallic feathers that terrorized the area near Lake Stymphalia. Their numbers were overwhelming, and brute force alone wouldn't suffice. Hercules sought help from his sister Athena, who gave him a pair of divine iron drums crafted by Hephaestus. The deafening noise from the drums drove the birds into the air, where Hercules shot several down with his Hydra poisoned arrows. With the threat gone, he moved on to his next task. Eurystheus ordered Hercules to the island of Crete for his seventh labor, to capture the Cretan bull, a powerful creature meant to be sacrificed to Poseidon. King Minos had refused to offer it, angering the god, who made the bull rampage uncontrollably. Hercules wrestled the beast, the father of the fearsome Minotaur, grabbing it by the horns and throwing it to the ground. After tying it up, he shipped it to Mycenae. Eurystheus, upon seeing the bull, released it, and it roamed Greece, spreading terror until it was later tamed by Theseus in Marathon. The eighth labor took Hercules to Thrace to retrieve the man-eating mares of King Diomedes, son of Ares, the god of war. These horses, tied with iron chains, fed on human flesh, as Diomedes fed them captured foreigners. Accompanied by Alaus and Abderus, son of Hermes, Hercules arrived in Diomedes' kingdom. Outraged by the king's cruelty, he defeated the royal guards, captured Diomedes, and threw him to be devoured by his own mares. Sated, the horses calmed, and Hercules led them to his ship. More soldiers attacked, and while Hercules and Iolaus fought them off, Abderus was tragically killed by the mares. Mourning his friend, Hercules buried him and founded the city of Abdera in his honor. In Mycenae, Eurystheus dedicated the mares to Hera. Legend says their descendants, including Alexander the Great's horse Bucephalus, were extraordinary creatures. For his ninth labor, Hercules journeyed to the Messira, the kingdom of the Amazons, to obtain the girdle of Queen Hippolyta, as a gift for Eurystheus' daughter. The Amazons were fierce women warriors, and Hippolyta was impressed by Hercules' stature. Negotiations went well, and she agreed to give him the girdle peacefully. But Hera, disguised among the Amazons, spread a rumor that Hercules planned to kidnap the queen. The Amazons attacked, and in the bloody battle, Hippolyta fell. Hercules took the girdle, and on his return, stopped in Troy, where he saved King Laomedon's daughter from a sea monster. Laomedon, however, refused to pay the promised reward, earning Hercules' vow of revenge. The 10th labor sent Hercules to the distant island of Erythea to steal the cattle of the giant Geryon, a monstrous being with multiple bodies. Guarded by Orthrus, a two-headed dog with a serpent's tail, the cattle were a prized possession. Hercules slew Orthrus with his club and began driving the herd away. Geryon attacked, aided by Hera, but Hercules shot her with an arrow, forcing her to flee. He then killed Geryon with a Hydra-poisoned arrow and returned to Greece with the cattle. On his journey, he split a massive mountain, creating the Pillars of Hercules, now known as the Strait of Gibraltar, connecting the Mediterranean Sea to the cold Atlantic Ocean over a span of about 14 kilometers. For the 11th labor, Hercules sought the golden apples from the Garden of the Hesperides, guarded by the dragon Ladon. On his quest, he freed the Titan Prometheus from eternal torment by an eagle, earning advice to seek Atlas, the Hesperides' father, who bore the weight of the heavens. Hercules held the celestial sphere, while Atlas retrieved the apples, but Atlas tried to trick him into taking the burden forever. Using his cunning, Hercules asked Atlas to hold the sphere briefly while he adjusted his lion skin cloak. When Atlas complied, Hercules took the apples and left. Returning to Mycenae, he was celebrated by the people, much to Eurystheus' dismay. Finally, for his 12th labor, Eurystheus sent Hercules to the underworld to capture Cerberus, the three-headed guard dog of Hades. Initiated into the Eleusinian mysteries to prepare, Hercules entered the realm of the dead through a secret cave, guided by Hermes. He freed Theseus, imprisoned there, and forced the boatman Charon to ferry him across the river Acheron. Hades permitted the attempt, but forbade weapons. Hercules wrestled Cerberus, with its 3 heads and serpent tail, and dragged it to the surface. The dog, sickened by sunlight, vomited poisonous plants. In Mycenae, Eurystheus hid in terror at the sight of the beast. Hercules returned Cerberus to the underworld as promised, completing his final labor. Though Eurystheus could no longer bind him, Hercules' journey was far from over. He had reached the height of glory, seen as humanity's protector, but more trials awaited before he could join his father Zeus in immortality on Olympus. His story, one of strength, tragedy, and perseverance, continues to inspire us to face our own challenges with courage. Thank you for joining me on this incredible adventure through the life of Hercules, the greatest hero of Greek mythology.